can we relate to life without thinking in logic? Can we? Oh yes, we do. So this is just as simple as that. It's just another way of knowing. Is there only knowing through logic and reason? No, it's not. So, look at the great father of logic and reason, Socrates. He was listening in his voice.
Listening to his voice.
Yeah, in his mind he heard the voice of demonic, and that voice was guiding him through life. And would you say that this is anything different, that the biblical prophets heard the voice of God, or anyone would say, I hear the voice of God, or Socrates hear the voice of Damien? So Socrates was not that narrow-minded to reduce life to logic and reason. He was often visiting the Oracle of Delphi and consulting with him, and he was taking hallucinogenics, and he was participating in rituals, and he was going into trances, and he was a very complex, very universal mind, which was open to any possible way of engaging with reality. Right? But the modern science, unfortunately, since the scientific so-called enlightenment, right, which started with Newton and Descartes and Bacon, who were very religious, deeply religious, and deeply
Francis Bacon was in the church, was a priest of some sort.
They were not.
And even Newton.
Yeah, the Newton was for the rest of his life. He was deeply. First, he was an alchemist. Right? So alchemy gave birth to chemistry. Metaphysics gave birth to physics. Astrology gave birth to astronomy. So that's all just like everything has its own place in time. When we go into the past and we look at the dark ages of religion, right? And we think that, oh wow, religion was so dogmatic and so, everything, we are in the process of development. Humanity is opening up and opening up. But there's a moments where we, instead of absorbing our past and understanding that we cannot change the past and we cannot re-experience the past, whatever Newton experienced and Bacon and Descartes, we can't experience today. Whatever Abraham Lincoln was experiencing, George Washington, we can't experience today. They all belong, they only can be judged. And inside of their time, inside of their historical moment. So everything is, so we are now today in the moment, and we must embrace both science and religion, right? And embracing not in the way that scientifically will explain the Bible, right? Or no, just to understand that we are exploring reality in different ways, and the word God exists in language, and it represents a very deep, probably the deepest, it's probably the largest gate through which we can actually engage with reality, right? It's like a word love,
The word love?
The word love is a very vast word, right?
It's a real relatedness to the world. It's
You
a
know,
good
love,
kind
like,
of a portal
you know,
to relate to the world.
exactly,
So you're
yeah.
saying religion
Yeah.
is really the portal to
Yes.
understanding
Yes.
the world as we see it.
Yes, in science, and the science, and science too.
The same way.
Same way.
It's also
it's
a portal.
It's a portal.
And so when people say that these two cannot meet, atheist versus religious,
Well,
that's a mistake.
atheist is just a representation of those scientists whose minds got so constricted. It's contraction. Atheism is just a contraction of the mind. There's no other explanation.
Yeah, it's just like that's what like I try to understand. I mean, with all due respect to all beliefs, people are obviously free to love anyone they want, to believe anything in anything that they want. But I don't understand why these two have been at odds and clashing throughout history. Because to me, it just there's no dichotomy. You can totally be cognizant of the greatness of scientific endeavor and achievement, and yet be in awe of, especially as a scientist, I never understood this. If you're a scientist, even more so, you should be in awe of creation. Like you're looking with the electron microscope, like I did in the chemistry lab, and you're looking at this world, just like, how can you not be in awe? Like at one cell resembles the entire universe. And that cell could come from any existence, any being, it could be from me, could be from, any lab animal, or any leaf, any flower from nature. So
Yes, yeah, put it beautifully.
you look at the life at the cellular level, and you're like, and this is just like the universe. Everything is all intertwined in some sort of a mystical, balanced, harmonious way that kind of like, in a sense, and in a very beautiful way, resembles the solar system and the rest of the galaxies. It's just one freaking cell. And then it's ever since I was little, I was like, how can, that just like, even before knowing about science, I just was in awe of how can people say there's no God, and how can people not see the stars, and as you gaze.
God is simply the name for all that's unknown and unknowable. Just the name of it.
Exactly.
That's what.
All we have to say is we don't know.
God is. Would you agree, same Harris, that there is unknowable. Not just unknown.
The unknowable.
Not just unknown.
The unknowable.
Because unknown will be known.
The unknowable.
But unknowable will never be known.
Oh.
It will never be known because as science progresses, it's moving forward to know more. But the more it knows, the more question comes around. It's like, look at the science today. There was never so much confusion between scientists. Because of why? Because of the arrogance of that so-called enlightenment. Because that so-called enlightenment, when science suddenly developed that attitude that now we will get rid of religion. Religion is just like a bunch of superstitions, right? And this is all. So that attitude and that attitude is just like today we are moving, like people feel like, whoa, we're moving toward a secular society. We will have soon religion will just disappear. We'll have a secular society, very scientifically
based and
everything will be
driven.
everything will be understood and proven, and and
people will give up and finding the meaning of life.
and said Sam Harris that it will never happen. It will never happen. There will be just more and more confusion between scientists. Because why is there confusion?
Or between people.
Why is that hard question of consciousness? There was so much arrogance in science since the Enlightenment started that hard question of consciousness wouldn't be raised even, which is obviously should be raised immediately. And it's really the biggest question. Science, it's a foundation of scientific arrogance, right? The hard question of consciousness will finally reveal the arrogance, hardcore arrogance of materialism and physicalism. And then we go back to unknowable as being really unknowable. And then we would understand very clearly that, word God has its place. Everything that's unknowable is God. And in that light, when you, Sam Harris, you asked Jordan Peterson,
Sam Harris asked Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, do you really believe that the Bible was written by God, right?
Oh, whether the Bible was written by God, as Christians believe, yeah.
Yeah. So this question cannot even, that's not a question. Right from the beginning. It's not a question, because even the word God is absolutely unapproachable.